All right.
So we were just talking about a Bob Dylan lost tape, and we realised that the audio wasn't recording. So we now have our own lost tape, Old Man Media lost tape. We've got the webcam audio, which sucks, and you're not going to use it. So we're just doing it again, baby.
Yeah. Old Man Media first.
Old Man Media repeat.
We're going to do it even
rewind.
better this time, Paul.
Hope so.
It's going to be even better.
Honestly, that lost tape was very good. It was probably we were on top form.
And you'll never hear it.
Now I've lost my flow, so I don't know. Might as well just give up.
No, come on. No, all right, we've got this.
Welcome back to the Old Man Media podcast with your hosts Paul Buchanan
and Will Ragg.
I'm Paul Buchanan. He's Will Ragg.
So, do you want to set the scene again? So he's just finished.
So, if you didn't know, we're doing the episode on Freewheelin Bob Dylan. The album here.
Yes. An album I probably haven't listened to in, I'd say, 10 years. I listened to it a lot when I was 16. That and Desire and the Red Hot Chili Peppers were, mainstays on my iPod. And when was the first time you listened to it, you reckon?
Probably not until recently, to be honest.
Really?
I don't think I did like whole albums of, especially the Bob Dylan folk stuff. Like I had times that were changing on my iPod when I was a kid, but I never, for some reason, Freewheelin'. I'd like take Don't Think Twice, It's Alright, Masters of War, and what's the other one? Blowing in the Wind, and then Hard Rain. Then I just like and Girl from the North Country. Actually, saying that, I didn't even fuck with Girl from the North Country in this album. I was more of a Nashville.
Yeah, I love the one on Nashville Skyline. Yeah.
So I literally was just like, why do I want to listen to a shittier folk version of it? Which isn't how I feel now. This is coming from like 15, 16-year-old me.
Yeah, I've forgotten how good it is. Still, I mean, it's still like it's 60 years later, and it still feels as kind of, raw and It's amazing. The songwriting, how much... I mean, you had flourishes in the first album with songwriting with Song to Woody. I think it's still a really well-written song. But, it's just how much his songwriting developed in that very short space of time. I even read that, like, as they were recording songs for Freewheelin', they would have to scrap a bunch of the ones early on, like the first recording session. They didn't use any of the songs because his songwriting was developing so quickly that he was coming up with much better songs, and there was no use for any of them. Like in one of the first recording sessions, they recorded a cover of "Heard That Lonesome Whistle" by Hank Williams, and I was like, "Oh, I've never heard that." It's like two of my favorite things, Dylan and Hank. And then I listened to it, and it's not very good. Have you heard it?
Yeah, it's
not great.
Wait, Dylan and Hank?
No, just like a cover of a Hank
song. Dylan and Johnny.
No. Dylan covered "Heard That Lonesome Whistle" by Hank Williams for this album, but then they didn't use it.
Oh, didn't know that. I got that on my outtakes.
Oh yeah, well it's on that new, the new bootleg album they released.
Yeah.
What's it? Beyond the Open Window or something?
Right.
It's on there.
The only two
outtakes.
Two outtakes I've got down is John Birch Society, Paranoid Blues, which was forbidden by the record label because they were worried they'd get sued by the far right group, I guess, John Birch Society. And Tomorrow's a Long Time, which apparently was too emotionally entangled for Dylan. I think he felt too strongly about it. I had a little tidbit of my personal... enlightening to Dylan. I heard one of the first Dylan songs I actually became really enamored with was "Tomorrow's a Long Time," because I heard it on The Walking Dead. Find out, and it was impressionable enough for me to like Google it afterwards and do some research.
Oh wow! I didn't even know it was on there. Nice.
That's my mum.
Hi, Natalie.
So 4 months after recording his debut, it was released, and Dylan was very embarrassed about it and got straight to recording Freewheelin'. But in comparison to, obviously it took about 2 weeks, 3 weeks of preparation and recording to finish the debut Bob Dylan album. With Freewheelin, it would take a year. And he had a trip to Britain in that year that exposed him to some English folk songs, which inspired some of the material on the album. And there's a lot of outtakes as well on this album, which kind of indicate his erratic recording style of just doing, he was very much like just do it again and differently, and like almost like wildly painting brush strokes and hoping that it comes out, and if not, doing another painting kind of vibe. I think as well, the influence of Suze Rotolo really took Dylan in his new political direction that changed the course of his entire career. So I think if anything, the failure or sort of I don't want to call it a complete failure, but it's very just like nothing of note on his first album, I'd say. With that in mind, he just used that and fueled his rise to fame.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I think there are a couple of remnants of the first album on this. Whoopsie daisy. There are a couple of remnants of the first album on this, like down on the highway. I think is it could be on the first album and you wouldn't think twice.
Don't think twice.
Pardon the pun. But because that's his kind of his take on a blues song, and he puts his own personal spin on it. Two of the major things that happened in that time. I mean, obviously you said he goes to Britain, and then he goes. Suze Rotolo obviously is off to Italy studying art.
Ah, yes, of course.
So those are the two big things. And Down on the Highway, I mean, majorly about Suze Rotolo being. I mean, there's a line in it. Was it my little girl went off to Italy?
My baby took my heart from me. She packed it all up in a suitcase. Lord, she took it all away to Italy.
Yeah.
It's very on the nose there for Dylan. Very laying it all plain. In comparison, it's a girl from the North Country. No one knows who that's about. There's lots of speculation.
People think it might be about Bonnie Beecher, his university.
Someone said it was Echo Hellstrom, an early girlfriend of Dylan from his hometown of Hibbing. Suze Rotolo was obviously sort of penned as because he finished the song while she was in Italy. But someone else said that it might have been Bonnie Beecher, girlfriend of Dylan's when he was at the University of Minnesota. And there's no real proof of any of this. The musicologist Todd Harvey says that the lyrics do not contain enough specific information to suggest that Dylan was leaving clues about his personal life. But he's a guy called Howard Soons has quite a funny opinion that while he was like utilizing a lot of autobiographical things, maybe from lots of different girlfriends in the past, he was also using them to gain favor with different girlfriends he's dated over the year. So he maybe left it so open-ended that he could say to any of his past lovers, "Yeah, it was about you, baby. Are you free tonight?"
The classic fuckboy move there. God.
But yeah, in 1963, he performed the song on the radio, and he said, "This is dedicated to all the North Country girls." Which is just like, it's like fucking Katy Perry being on the radio, like, "This is for all the California girls." But yeah, notably took the tune of Scarborough Fair when he was in England. He learned it from Martin Cathy in London. Adapted the theme of that song, to one who lives there. She once was a good friend of mine, or whatever it is.
Yeah, I do have it written down actually.
Which Scarborough Fair is actually originally called The Elfin Knight.
Oh, is it really?
Brackets Child Ballad Number 2.
Child ballad,
which was first transcribed in 1670, because I guess it would have been like a nursery rhyme or something.
Yeah, God, I didn't realize it was loud.
Martin Carthy's version I actually found, which is under the name Elfin Knight. And yeah, it's pretty nice if you like that sort of thing. Obviously, everyone knows the Garfunkel.
Yeah,
you've seen The Graduate. You just feel like you've heard that song maybe too many times already.
Yeah. I'm not a big fan of their version of the song.
Are you going to Scotland?
More of a Paul Simon solo man myself.
Yeah, I like Art, as we've discussed.
Oh, we have discussed.
Art's got fucking pipes, and I found more bangers off of that one album that I like.
Oh, really?
The one where he sat around the table with all.
Did you listen to that tape I bought you?
No,
oh.
I haven't got any. I'm in the market right now for a tape machine because I thought I could play it from a tape recorder, but it plays at a different speed for the recording quality or whatever. But that one with Waters March on it, I think it's Breakaway. There's a really good song on it. I can't remember what it's called now. I think it's Breakaway, the title track. I really like that song. I don't know if it's an original or if, he's got some covers on there as well, but boy, could that man spin a tune. It'll be in my May 26th playlist actually, so I'll Breakaway. Yeah.
Oh, there we go, listeners. That's the recommendation of the day on the Bob Dylan episode. Listen to Art Garfunkel's solo.
If you're freewheeling, just give up. Just stop. Put it down. Listen to some Art Garfunkel. Breakaway, figuratively and literally.
So we discussed on the Lost ep about Dylan's appearance on British television. I just want to, because I think the story is quite interesting, so I want to redo it here. So he's in London, and he gets approached, and he gets hired to be the leading role in a BBC play.
Well, see, I heard that he was poached to go to London from Greenwich Village performance, where the director was interested in having him.
Oh, is it? Okay.
What's the director called?
So he goes.
Jones.
He goes to.
Sorry, that's the playwright. Philip Saville got him over.
So he goes to London specifically for the play.
My version of events is,
okay.
But you never know. And apparently he was brought over by the BBC, so they paid for his travel and stuff, and he was also paid a couple $1,000 US.
Yeah,
which is substantial.
A lot for the early '60s and an up and coming folk musician.
Man.
But then he gets there and, he's rehearsing, and it becomes very apparent that he just didn't have any acting abilities, didn't want to learn his lines, and he'd frequently slink off to smoke weed.
And the playwright was actually Jamaican, and he was involved in the making. So I have this theory, we have this theory that it might have been going off to smoke weed with him, especially seeing as the story that I've got is that once they realised he couldn't act, they were kind of going to just scrap the play until Evan Jones rewrote it and had Dylan's character only do songs, and then they got someone else to do the lead. So,
Yeah, so the play was called Madhouse on Castle Street, and it contains the first televised recording of Blowin' in the Wind. You corrected me here, but I thought it was lost and it was binned in 1968, but apparently not.
Well, there's a 2005 BBC Arena documentary that discusses and appeals for anyone who taped it to come forward. But they actually have a really good quality audio of it. Only a small segment is shown to the audience, and the actual owner, Ray Jenkins, has no intention of releasing it. Dylan does a version of the Ballad of the Gliding Swan on this as well. So there are two other versions shown in the documentary, but very poor audio quality. I guess taping wasn't as widely a thing back then.
Well, yeah, probably not. I mean, TVs were fairly new for people.
VHSs feel like a sort of 80s.
They're 90s, yeah.
90s invention. But Ray Jenkins, if you're out there listening to Old Man Media, release the tapes. Release the tapes. And everyone, let's all. If anyone knows Ray Jenkins or the Ray Jenkins estate, let's start something here.
Let's hassle him.
Let's get some petitions going. Let's start a movement.
Hashtag release the files.
The times are changing, brothers. You masters of tapes.
But yeah, also
hard tape's gonna fall. Hard tape's gonna drop.
Master of tapes. So Dylan actually wasn't the first to release the song "Blowin' in the Wind." He recorded it in July 1962. It wouldn't be for another nearly year, until the song would actually be released on the album. But in that time, he was obviously going around New York coffee shops and playing it everywhere. And a group called
obviously "Blowin' in the Wind" opens up the album. Sorry to interject, but I just feel like I've got some facts I want to chime in. So "Blowin' in the Wind" segment, opening of the album.
What way to open an album?
Yeah,
insane.
It's probably one of the best Bob Dylan songs of all time. In maybe the handful of 20 that I would also put in that.
Yeah, there are a lot. I was going through,
but in terms of that political thing, I think it's one of the most well known and maybe one of the best ones in terms of that. But yeah.
What
are you saying?
Yeah, so a group called the New World Singers had heard him do this, and they'd gotten permission from him to record and release a version that would actually release before Freewheelin. So technically, Bob Dylan wasn't the first to release "Blowin' in the Wind."
Yeah,
which is strange.
Which would come to be a trait in a lot of his career. Obviously he gave Wagon Wheel away to the Old Crow Medicine Band, and he gave stuff to the band, I Shall Be Released, and
Old Crow Medicine Show, by the way.
If Not For You, he also gave to George Harrison.
Yeah, I actually have a bit about that. So I try to find articles about this, but I mean, there definitely is some, but I just couldn't find them. About the kind of
sources, trust me, bro.
So this is just like something I've noticed that he says a lot. Kind of the impersonal nature of his songwriting, not specifically like I think the songs can often be very personal, as we've discussed before.
Well, yeah, I mean, it's like to harken back to "Girl from the North Country," isn't it?
Yeah, but that's not what I mean.
That's
I mean the actual ownership of his songs.
Right.
So obviously, I mean, he does own them. He has put the name on them and everything, but. I was skimming the Wikipedia article, and he talked to Pete Seeger about how the songs weren't his own, and I thought that was really interesting because I'd also rewatched an interview recently. I think it was in Scorsese's documentary where they're asking him about the Rolling Thunder Revue, and he goes, "That was so long ago, I wasn't even born yet." And then I also remember Paul Schrader talking about Bob Dylan and about how I tried to find this quote and I couldn't find it, so I've just got to trust that I remember a Paul Schrader quote where he's quoting Bob Dylan.
I mean, if there was anyone I would trust, it'd probably be you.
But basically, he says that Dylan doesn't remember writing Blood on the Tracks, and so I just think it's very interesting that he kind of like. Maybe it's like all of the weed he was smoking, all of the cocaine he did in the 80s.
Out of his mind all the time. Like, have you seen that "We Are the World" thing? And he's just zonked.
He's just gone in the background.
This man introduced the Beatles to weed. Like, he is just the the son of drug music.
Yeah, this is true, music,
and he was in a way.
But also, I mean, it could also harken back to that idea of like traditional folk and blues music, where people didn't own the songs; they were passed down and they were changed to suit the singer of the song.
I mean, I can understand that from the point of view of some of his songs, where he just is like pinches bits from other songs, and he's like, "Well, I've done that, so maybe it's not completely an original, and it's reworked," and then he passes it on to other people. But I don't know. I feel like "Blood on the Tracks," for instance, is an incredibly personal album.
Well, no, it is, yeah.
And I wouldn't see him like giving stuff away that freely. I mean, fucking Joan Baez does a version of "Tangled Up in Blue" and stuff. Right, let's crack that curtain a little bit. It's getting a bit dark. But yeah, "Blowin' in the Wind." Do you know the song that it took influence from?
No More Auction Block.
Yeah. So No More Auction Block was like a sort of a Negro spiritual, not spiritual, but like a Negro protest song.
Yeah.
Pete Seeger does a cover of No More Auction Block, and he sort of says that he heard it instantly when Dylan performed it. But because of the way that it's sung, I feel like it's different with the syllables that Dylan, how many rows must a man walk down? And then you listen to and it's "No More Auction Block," or like it's whereas "How many roads can a man walk down?"
Yeah.
So it's like, yeah, it doesn't. It still feels like a reinvention to me. Maybe I think it's maybe the chord progressions, but then if you're a musician, you know how like limited the pool of chord progressions can be sometimes. Especially if you're not trying to be like Jazz McGee.
Classic Jazz McGee.
Shut up, mate. We all know who Jazz McGee is.
Oh yeah, of course.
We've all met a Jazz McGee in our time. But yeah, according to Alan Lomax, "The Folk Songs of North America," which is a book by him, the song originated in Canada. Was sung by former slaves who fled there after Britain abolished slavery in 1833. And Dylan acknowledged the source when he told journalist Mark Rowland that "Blowin' in the Wind" had always been a spiritual. "I took it off a song called No More Auction Block. That's a spiritual, and "Blowin' in the Wind" follows the same feeling."
Yeah.
His performance of No More Auction Block was recorded at the Gaslight Cafe in October 1962 and appears on the bootleg series versions 1 to 3, rare and unreleased, 61 and 91. So yeah.
I think "Blown in the Wind" is just such a fantastically written song. I mean, just like even the very chorus, "The answer, my friend, is blowing in the wind." I mean, it's like, the answer is everywhere. It's all around us, but then also at the same time, it's completely unknowable. I mean, he's not saying that he has any answers or the answers are right in front of us. He's saying that the answer to like human understanding is incredibly difficult and maybe unknowable,
especially with like built in a capitalistic society where like war is such a, I don't know, it can be such a normalized thing, or like a powerless thing that how does one man sort of come to terms with the morality of war and his country prevailing war? And you got to even think like at the top, it's not just one man. It's, you've got perhaps Donald Trump's wages war on Iran, but that's like a what do you call it, like the head of probably an organization of lots of people beneath him that have also made this decision. Like he's just the there's a word for it, like the figurehead. He's like the so
the master of war.
I can't say like, oh yeah, that's an entirely one man's fate, because I personally don't believe that's how governments are run. I think they're much more complicated than that, and I think there is a lot of money and greed and shared corporate wealth that probably goes into it. But yeah, I had some personal notes on this song when I was listening to it, and obviously I've always read the sort of comments on man-made warfare that it has, but on this listen, it kind of spoke to me a bit about just masculinity. Like how like traditional masculine traits are sort of soldier-like, following orders blindly and just sort of being subservient. But here, like Dylan sort of shows manliness in just questioning the way things are and like standing up for what you believe in, even if that's peace. So it's like it's kind of it's a hard thing to do, to say like I want to fight for peace, but unfortunately it's what you have to do. But it's not fight in a rough and tough or guns way. It's just have the strength to question the things that are put towards you in life, right?
Yeah,
that's what I really took from it this time around, especially like from my wise old age of 26.
I mean, I think going back to what you were saying about Girl from the North Country, it's deliberately very vague. He's left it vague. It's not about one person. It's and he's done the same thing with Blown in the Wind. I mean, he does it all throughout his career. He deliberately makes things vague so you can apply it to kind of whatever situation you want. I mean, maybe he's done that deliberately, maybe he hasn't, but all of these things. I mean, it was used by the Blown in the Wind was used by the civil rights movement and the anti-war movement in the 60s, and there's very easily a case for applying to both, but you could apply it to any kind of left-wing cause, really. To write that at what, 21, 20? Insane.
Yeah, I mean, it really does make me think that like he I don't know if he's ever said it himself, but other people talk about creativity of being like, you're almost like a totem for like pre-existing floating ideas, and the way that he talks about not remembering how any of it comes to him, and just being, I guess it's like maybe even flow state or something that he achieves in his creative and writing, and it's like, yeah, just he was maybe just like so open to that, creative flair that it just flowed through him, like, just so easily at this time. And in his later career, he was like, I don't know how I wrote all those songs, and I think you can kind of hear that he struggles a little bit more with writing songs now, than he did back then. Maybe comes with just overthinking it, or not being able to flow like he did once back then. But
yeah, I mean, you say that, but he had like 2 or 3 comebacks. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like he found his edge back in kind of the mid to late 90s, and he was writing great songs then.
But I think he in his comeback he's had to dig in deep a bit. I think Blood on the Tracks maybe was in that, because he's had some good albums before that, and then a couple duds, and then bam, Blood on the Tracks. And I think that was like maybe still kind of a bit lucky or channeling something. But I feel like in the 90s he was spent the 80s sort of writing a lot of schlop. The occasional good album, I like Oh Mercy, And even in those schlops, there is good because he is like an incredibly talented and intelligent person. But
yeah,
I'm just saying, I think that in the 90s, he really had to sort of treat it more like a craft and less like I don't know.
Yeah, it didn't quite come to him as easily.
Yeah, I think, and throughout his whole, he's written so many songs, and he's, I think he hasn't managed to pull off that like lucky streak that he's had when he was younger. I think over time it became more of a labour of love than just free flowing thing. And I think maybe it's a thing to do with the times as well. The height of this really interesting time politically, and he was able to sit on top of that and almost view it with like painstaking self-awareness and just write so off the time. And as the times changed and moved towards different things, and maybe these things became a little bit less
I mean, he certainly became
a melting pot,
far more introspective in the 70s. And I mean, I think that there are political songs in the 70s, but I mean, he wrote far fewer. I mean, go into the 60s, he's obviously got rid of the connotation that he was a protest singer, and created his own things. But he was still writing protest songs, but mostly very kind of self-effacing and personal. Like you said earlier, but on the tracks is incredibly personal. But yeah, I don't know. It's easy to blame the 80s on cocaine, but it is interesting that he tanked quite so badly in quality.
Yeah, but there's almost a charm to it, I think, and it's the fact that he was even aware enough to say, I don't know how I wrote those songs, and it's kind of that makes you think that even your heroes and your you wouldn't like he was obviously hailed as like this prophet figurehead of the folk scene, and then and then he stepped back from that and he went and did his own thing, and eventually it just he did his own thing so much, and eventually just doing his own thing and no one liked it. But then it's like the point of doing your own thing isn't to be liked, it's to do your own thing, right? Yeah. So I don't know, it's that philosophy that it's like a sort of became his own not demise, because he's still fucking going strong, you know what I mean? But it's it's the price you'd pay for just following your heart and your ambition and your intuition.
Yeah, he was always a troubadour. He always did it for the sake of it, never to. Obviously it's easy for me to say he didn't do it for making money, which is probably not true. But
I mean, I don't think at this point. Yeah, so I'd like to go back into this kind of story of Suze Rotolo on the album. Obviously she is the woman on the album with him. So hugely important to Dylan. I think the fact that he'd even put her on the album is a bit like, he was obviously quite smitten with her. There's an article I read by a man called Mark Ellen called "What If Suze Rotolo Had Stayed Home on July 29, 61," which contains quite a funny theory backed by Roger McGinn of the Byrds, who on Dylan's protest music says he did it to impress that girl. So
I can see that.
He said, I knew them both at the time around Greenwich Village, and Dylan went through that political phase purely because of Suze. She was politically active, she was a lefty, and he was going on that trip with her. Rotolo's parents, communists and friends with Soviet spy Charles Flatto. She worked for the Congress of Racial Equality when they met, and travelled to Cuba in 1964 to assess the Castro regime during a time which Americans weren't allowed to visit because of the embargo. Prior to their meeting, Dylan's interest in politics was like purely from folk music and Woody Guthrie, really. The moment that the relationship ended was when he never really wrote another overtly political song. And then, funny enough, in 1965, in an interview, Dylan said, I never wanted to write topical songs. He said in the Greenwich Village, there was a publication called Broadside that you could get in with topical songs. So he's like, well, that's my chance. So he just used it as a vehicle to get published in this magazine. Do
you know what song he wrote for that?
No idea. No,
he wrote Oxford Town for Broadside magazine.
Well, we'll get to that. Well,
so
we can
maybe
discuss that now if you want.
Yeah, I mean, it was...
I haven't actually got many notes personally on that one. I've got, obviously, it's about the Old Miss riot of 1962 at Oxford University, where segregationists wanted to prevent James Meredith from enrolling, African American, and JFK had to deploy 30,000 troops to cull the riot. So, it's kind of, for me, it's a very short and to the point song, but well written, but very efficient, and it doesn't beat around the bush. He went down to Oxford Town, guns and clubs following him down, all because his face was brown. Better get away from Oxford Town. It's like a nursery rhyme, obviously, and I guess it is very Guthrie-like in that way, where it takes like a very catchy sort of nursery rhyme like chorus, but has this political edge to it. So making memorable songs that people will lead people to make better choices. Maybe.
I mean, yeah. Again, going back to Dylan making things like vague. I mean, he says in a quote, "I deliberately didn't say James Meredith's quote because it's about any sort of riot in."
What did he say? What was James Meredith's quote?
No, not James Meredith. Bob Dylan said that he didn't say James Meredith's name in the song,
right?
Deliberately, because he wanted it to be about any kind of like.
But yeah, open to anything.
Yeah.
But it's funny because he's obviously used Oxford Town, which is specific, and then
because the magazine did say it had to be about the Old Miss riots. But he said that he didn't make it anything in the song apart from Oxford Town isn't like specifically about that riot. Really, it's just about the racial hatred that was, very prevalent in especially places like Mississippi and.
I feel like on his next album, there's a song which is very about I think it's like an African American who died or something.
Ballad of Hollis Brown.
Yeah.
Or no, you're thinking of
Betty.
Yeah, the one that Joan Baez loves. Oh, I can't remember now. But yeah, that there is some pretty major songs.
Yeah.
On that one. I mean, when did they break up, Susan? Bob?
No,
you don't know. I don't know either. Actually, I probably should know that.
I would assume it would have been another side of Dylan, if in my mind that lines up with the music.
That does make sense actually.
Yeah.
Because I know there's a song on that.
So 64, I'd say.
There is a song on that album which he looks back on and go, "You'd have had to have been a schmuck to write that." And I can't remember what song it is now.
Well, we'll find that out.
But that's the next episode.
Another side. Wait, for Times Are Changing.
Oh no, that's
2 episodes time of the Bob Dylan series.
The Lonesome Death of Hattie Carroll.
That's the one I was thinking. Oh yeah, that's Young William something.
Zenzinger.
You've got Masters of War off this album.
Yeah,
a really great
album,
track.
a great song. Yeah.
Written in London again.
Oh, was it? I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Very angry. So angry. I mean, you say all this stuff about how obviously it probably is true in a way that Dylan was writing it to impress Suze, but I listen to songs like Masters of War and I can't fully believe that. Because the anger and the venom that he's got in this, I mean, I don't believe that he doesn't. I mean, because we know that he's not a good actor, so surely that must be real. Do you know what I mean? I don't know,
mate. I mean, I think you can look in retrospect and be like, he could be like himself, like, oh, I must have done that all for a girl. But I think at the time the feelings he felt were real and true, and the songs he was writing were obviously correct. I don't think he didn't believe in it, but I think personally he wouldn't have wanted to become this vehicle of so much like protest music, and he wouldn't have wanted to be. He wanted to be more varied, which I think in his later career he would do. You can listen to, like I think of Desire. We got a political song on there, but it's not a whole political album. Whereas I feel like Times Are Changing, he's very much like, this is all political.
Yeah.
But yeah, I personally wrote some stuff on this. I haven't got too many facts behind the recording of it, apart from it was written in London. But yeah, it's like, I personally don't like to talk about the protest side of Dylan too much, because to me, like, he's so much more than that. Like, I think, as I say, I like his electric stuff, and I think he really represents a lot of beautiful, like, poetry and abstract writing, and like, I don't know, just, yeah, blonde. I'm a blonde and blonde man through and through, I think. So, but listening to this album again for this pod, and I heard this song, it gives me like goosebumps, man. Like, it is really powerful stuff. I think even in the modern age, you can listen to this song and feel incited to want to take some kind of political action.
Yeah.
Like sign a survey or something. Like,
yeah.
do whatever you can to like, you know, protest against war. Just like, you know, the lines, is your money that good? Will it buy you forgiveness? You know.
So I just wanted to read you the liner notes for Masters of War that's on the back of the album. So Masters of War startles Dylan himself. I've never really written anything like that before, he recalls. I don't sing songs which hope people will die, but I couldn't help it with this one. The song is a sort of striking out, a reaction to the last straw, a feeling of what can you do? The rage, which is as much anguish as it is anger, is a way of catharsis, a way of getting temporary relief from the heavy feeling of impotence that affects many who cannot understand a civilization which juggles its own means for oblivion and calls that performance an act toward peace. He wouldn't, you know, obviously he does do a few more protest songs, but nothing ever really that angry ever again. Masters of War, it's just terrific song. I just love it.
Yeah, it's so powerful. After that on the album, you got Down the Highway, which is sort of about Suze Rotolo going on holiday to Italy.
Quite literally, I think probably the weak point on the album for me.
Yeah, I don't fuck with the song that much, but you know, it's cool that it's like a sort of got some personal tidbits in there.
Yeah.
You know, my baby took my heart from me. She packed it all up in a suitcase. Lord, she took it all away to Italy.
Did you know that Dylan actually, when just after Suze Rotolo got back to New York, he was in Italy looking for Suze, but he didn't realise she'd already gone back to the US.
Man, he was down bad.
He was. What do you reckon? Do you reckon he was sleeping? He was probably sleeping around, wasn't he?
Well, that's what Complete Unknown tried to make him seem like. But I think you have to think back in those days as well. Dating's a bit different, and obviously he's with this kind of like hippie, free flowing left wing girl who went on holiday for like, you know, up and left him for like a year. Yeah. So maybe it's just kind of like, oh well, just fucking, you know, if we meet, and you know we have this love, but then also like you're on your own kind of. But then the documentary makes it out like he was just like, she went away for like a month. And he was like, hey, John, what you doing tonight?
Hey, John, where you going, John?
Hey, John, my parents aren't home.
As this series goes on, our Dylan impressions will get better, I promise you.
Or I think, maybe they'll get better, and then towards the 80s and 90s they'll get worse. And then maybe we'll have a slight comeback in the... but yeah, Bob Dylan's Blues is the next tune on the old album. Yeah, but apparently Freewheelin
was going to be called Bob Dylan's Blues.
Yeah, thank God for that they didn't call it that. Yeah. It's a bit cheesy, isn't it?
A little bit.
The actual materials on it, it's just like kind of...
How many times do you want to use Dylan's name? Is the self-titled the first one, and then Bob Dylan, I don't know.
Bob Dylan's Freewheelin Blues. But yeah, like the sleeve notes... I haven't actually... This is what I've read, so I haven't actually seen the sleeve notes, but it says... What I've got is that it's off-the-cuff songs. Yeah, what really off-the-cuff songs. I start with an idea and then I feel what follows. Best way I can describe this one is it's sort of like walking by a side street. You gaze in and you walk on. So, it's, you know, I think what I get from this song is it's that kind of beat poet influence of just, you know, Jack Kerouac on a typewriter... writing a never-ending roll of on the road. You know, it's that spirit. And yeah, I actually did a bit of research, and Dylan first, because I wanted to see when he is introduced to the beat poets, because I knew that later on he'd meet Allen Ginsberg and you know, show a lot of kind of love for them. But apparently he first read the beat poets in 1959 in Minnesota, his hometown, and someone handed him a copy of Jack Kerouac's Mexico City Blues. Oh, wow. Which he later described as the first poetry he'd read that spoke his own American language. So I think it just means in terms of maybe the lingo at the time, you know, like it's not like he obviously read Dylan Thomas, where he got his name from, and Dylan Thomas is a Welsh poet, so you've obviously got the Welsh sort of colloquial terms. But yeah, I think it's very... Yeah, have you ever read Mexico City Blues? No, I've read Dharma Bums and On the Road, and they're both so good. I need to read more. Yeah. It's good. I feel like it's something that needs to be seen, because he uses lots of weird syntax with it, and lots of, like, you know, the words all over the page, and it's very interesting. I'm not sure if I love the poetry. It's not my favourite poetry book, but I can see why Dylan loved it. Yeah. Well, next, have you got any more to say on Bob Dylan's blues?
No, not really. Again, I think a little bit of a weak point on the album for me. I'm not a huge fan of it. I think this, it's that 2-track thing is what keeps me from putting it, top 5 Dylan albums. I think for me.
Yeah, I see. You when we introduced you, were like, "Oh, this is just like re-listening to it." Maybe you said it on the lost tape, so
lost tape.
But you were like, "This, this blows my mind."
Mythical lost tape.
How amazing this album is!
Yeah,
and I think, like I said, like there are like some really, really good songs, like maybe 5 or 6 masterpiece Dylan songs. But yeah, I do think that maybe there are some duds on this album that intersperse, and but they can't all be. I feel like there are other albums of Dylan's that are stronger as a whole, but maybe you take one song and put it against the best songs in this album, and they don't do well. So
yeah, I mean, I would say apart from those 2 songs, I love every other song on the album.
Yeah, well, I guess we'll carry on. The next song on this album after Bob Dylan's Blues is another big hitter. Hard Rains Are Gonna Fall. Crazy nuclear fear kind of. Yeah,
wrote it during the Cuban Missile Crisis.
Famously wrote it and played it at the Cafe Noir before cheating on his girlfriend in A Complete Unknown. But I can't use that film for historical accuracy, so that's not the way it went down. But he apparently played it a lot at the Gaslight Cafe. He wrote it. He didn't write it during the Cuban Missile Crisis, but it gained a lot of buzz during it.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
It said on the liner notes that he wrote it during.
So he premiered the song at the Gaslight Cafe, and then days later he played it at Carnegie Hall at a concert organised by Pete Seeger, and this is in September 22, 1962.
Oh, well, obviously it hadn't happened yet because it was in October.
Yeah, so
because the Cubans call it the October Crisis.
I think maybe I think maybe the lore and the mythology is nicer to say that, but. He wrote it before, and apparently Dylan himself counters the post-apocalyptic nature of the song. He's like, no, it's not atomic rain, it's just a hard rain. It isn't the fallout rain. I mean, some sort of end, that's just got to happen. In the last verse, when I say the pellets of poison are flooding the waters, that means all the lies that people get told in their radios and in their newspapers. And Dave Van Ronk later commented, I was acutely aware that it represented the beginning of an artistic revolution.
Wow. Really? That's high praise from Van Ronk.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I think if there's only one person that Dave Ronk would always rate highly, probably Dylan. Right?
Yeah, probably.
I think any comments I've seen about him putting Dylan down in this like motherfucker, you can write so many good songs. It's like almost like envious. Yeah. Playfully envious.
Dave Van Ronk would be a good person to do a series on. I think he's really interesting.
Yeah, I don't know enough about him apart from his involvement with Dylan. And
was it influence like he was what Llewyn Davis was?
Yeah, I was saying inside Llewyn Davis. He does a version of Hang Me, Oh Hang Me, which Dave Van Ronk was renowned for playing. I think it's his most streamed song. That's what I go off nowadays. Just go off the numbers, man. Just crunch those AI numbers and fry the hard rain in my brain. Bob Dylan's Dreams next on the album.
I quite like this one.
Again, I feel like it's a bit of sort of beatific.
Yeah.
Reflects on old friends, and it feels like quite a mature song for a 22-year-old to write. Like, lots of talks of regret. I've got some of the lyrics written down. It was easy to tell from black and white. It wasn't all that easy to tell from wrong and from right, and our choices, they was few, so the thought never hit that the one road we travel would ever shatter or split.
Yeah, I mean, the last line in the song is something like, obviously the whole song's about him. I'm sorry, stop that. I've actually got that confused with a different song. Sorry, carry on.
Oh, okay.
I'm sorry, I've just got Talking World War III Blues.
It happens to me all the time. I just stick with my guns and just give out the fake news.
No, I'm not.
I'm like, this song's actually based on Scarborough Fair.
Just making stuff up.
Every song is album, like, it's based on Scarborough Fair. This whole album was based on Scarborough Fair after Bob Dylan watched The Graduate and listened to Simon Garfunkel's version on repeat. No, but this song was actually inspired by Lady Franklin's Lament, in which the title character dreams of finding her husband, Arctic explorer Sir John Franklin, alive and well. So Sir John Franklin vanished on an expedition searching for the Northwest Passage in 1845. A stone cairn on King William Island detailing his demise was found by a later expedition in 1859. Quite a cool little story. Yeah, it's like quite a naval song, I think.
Yeah, I love his quote in the song. I'll let you be in my dream if I can be in yours. It's always stuck with me, that one. I just like the idea of like, you know, why don't we all kind of? It's a bit kind of lovey-dovey, kind of hippie stuff. Like, you know, why don't we all let, you know, this kind of acceptance of one another and allow each other in. But I mean, I think that kind of fits with the themes of the album of kind of like racial justice and so on.
Yeah, no, it's a good song. But again, I'd say this is like more of a 7, whereas, you know, or an 8 maybe a push. Whereas, you know, if you got Down the Highway, it's probably like a 3.
Yes.
And then, you know, Hard Rain's Gonna Fall is probably like a 9 or a 10. Next song is Oxford Town, which we obviously already discussed. Is there anything?
No, I mean, yeah, not much more. I mean,
for me, again, like Oxford Town, 7, maybe out of push.
I love Oxford Town. Like a 9 for me. Like I remember listening to it the first time, and I mean, I guess you are probably right. It does sound a bit like a nursery rhyme, but I loved its kind of like the instrumental, how it. I mean, I don't want to say it is a bit flippant with kind of racial.
It's got that rambling, spoken style of Dylan that is like very derivative of Woody Guthrie, which is cool. Like I don't hate on that, but I think that, like, again, I'm not really into that folk side of Dylan. I love electric Dylan, so stuff like that, I'm like, I can appreciate it, but it's not like my ultimate jam.
Yeah, fair enough.
Yeah, but next song after
sorry,
that.
just one more thing on that one. So obviously I said that it was for a magazine submission. Phil Oakes also submitted a song called Ballad of Oxford, Mississippi.
There you go. Yeah, everyone's talking. Can't hear a word they're saying. Bob Dylan's certainly talking on his next song, Talking World War III Blues.
Yes.
So yeah. This I do notice a curve on this album. I'll say that it's like stacked with bangers in the beginning, apart from Down the Highway, and then it just, for me, it sort of tails off a bit. That's how I feel about it. But you know, that's me.
Well, I mean, the next song, I'd be interested in getting your opinions on then, because I really love Karina Karina.
It did surprise me, actually. It's one that I've listened to the album in the past, and it's never poked out with me. It's never, you know, because I'm usually listening to it through the lens of like, I'm just there for, you know, Blowing in the Wind, a bit of Girl from the North Country. I don't think twice. But yeah, like listening to Karina Karina, I was like, oh, this is like a really charming, like lovely recording, even though like when it first came on, I was like, yuck, blues. You know, it's like a fucking blues song. Like, you know, being in the 21st century, a blues song is like, can be a bit of an ick. But yeah, no, I was like, it's got that really charming style that I would come to love on his electric, like later electric stuff. Of just
the first time he recorded with a band.
Yeah, well, no. So I do have a tidbit. It comes from December 1962. Where other tracks were recorded with a band. So yeah, sorry, I guess you were right, but it's not the first song technically,
right? Okay.
That was recorded like in that session. It was part of the same session.
Yeah.
But yeah, they recorded "Mixed Up Confusion." You know much about this song? It's just an outtake from the album.
I feel like I've heard it before, but I can't remember how it goes.
So "Mixed Up Confusion" was actually going to be his first single release.
Oh right.
But the label were embarrassed because Dylan sounded like he wanted to be Sun era Elvis. Albert Grossman specifically, I think, pulled it back from being his first release. But if you knew this, you wouldn't be surprised at all by Dylan's going electric, because you listen to Mixed Up Confusion, it's same as this Karina Karina track, but a little bit more amped up, a little bit more like, you know, Maggie's Farm almost.
I mean, I love the way that, I mean, he kind of going back to like these old like blues singers that he kind of, you know, he did, because it was arranged by Dylan, but Dylan didn't write this one. One of the only 2 songs he didn't write on the album, and the other being "Honey, Allow Me One More Chance." And
it's a Bo Carter song, isn't it?
I didn't have that written down. I didn't know that, but
country blues song, first recorded by Bo Carter in 1928.
Wow.
Yeah. So all I noticed was like the accompaniment of the drums, obviously, and the drums are actually so lovely on this. If there's going to be one track with drums on it, I think this is how it's got to go down, right?
Yeah. No, I think it's really good. He kind of updates the kind of old blues number. I mean, which is kind of what blues was really good at. They change and evolve over time.
Yeah.
And in classic, obviously blues became kind of blues rock, and it became very influential. I think it's really, really good. I think.
On the original Mixed Up Confusion release, there was a B-side of Coroner Coroner, but it's a different version which is still yet to be released.
Wow, really? I did listen to a live version of Carina Carina, where it's solo acoustic.
Yeah,
that's also quite
like
good.
Royal Albert Hall or something, right?
No, this is early. This is at the Gerd's music or something.
Hurdy-gurdy. Hurdy-gurdy's Rap Shack.
But it's also, I don't know. I also really like that version as well.
Yeah.
The just solo acoustic.
Yeah, no, it does have a real nice charm to it. I've started listening to it. I was like a bit like, ugh, and then I think I just actually really appreciate the song. So, yeah. So that comes after talking World War III blues, which. Oh, you know what? I think we've been going all in order of the album, and after A Hard Rain, I completely skipped out Don't Think Twice. It's all right.
Oh, really?
I was wondering where it's going to come up. I was like, I swear Coroner's near.
Yeah, well, yeah. Because we started in a weird way. All right. Do you want to go back to
I'll just say Don't Think Twice is alright. It's probably one of the best acoustic songs ever written. Best acoustic guitar song. It is the fuckboy guitar anthem, isn't it? It's like, I'm getting ghosted by this girl. I'm going to post a Don't Think Twice, it's alright cover.
I don't know. Yeah, that's interesting, because I also read a quote by Dylan that said, when people cover this, they do it as a love song, and it's not a love song.
No, I hear it as a breakup song. I think it's like, don't think twice that it's alright, mate. Like, you fucked up. Like, you hurt me. That's what I hear in this song. It's interesting that people record it as a love song. But I guess it's the don't think twice, comma, is alright. I know, I've never been a stickler for punctuation, so I don't think twice is alright.
Well, yeah, I think Dylan, like, being influenced by beat poetry, he would have, paid attention to things like punctuation.
Yeah, he's accompanied by a bit of electric guitar in this song, I think.
Was he?
Yeah. Yeah, that's what I read, but I can't hear it.
Yeah, I was going to say, I don't remember.
I wrote in my notes, it's like his Wonderwall. I don't know.
I think you could say that about 2 or 3 songs on this album, though.
Maybe, but I think Blowing in the Wind's like supersonic.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, alright. Sure. Yeah, okay, fine.
and Hard Rain's like Live Forever.
Yeah, this whole album is definitely maybe.
And Bob Dylan's Dreams, Rock and Roll Star. No, Blowing in the Wind's Rock and Roll Star.
Sure.
I wonder if those ragtag group of lads from Manchester ever did a cover of Bob Dylan.
Oh God!
If anyone has any knowledge of that, don't worry about sending it to us.
Yeah, please keep it to yourself. You've heard Post Malone cover. Is it Don't Think Twice Is Alright?
Again, ultimate fuck boy right there.
Yeah.
Era. He has like a little video of him with his like fucking American flag.
Yeah, it's
like
funny
outfit or something. I don't mind Post Malone,
He's gone fully country now.
Is he?
Yeah. He's always been a bit of a country fan, but yeah.
Yeah. Dylan wrote Don't Think Twice Is Alright on hearing from Suze Rotolo that she was considering staying in Italy indefinitely.
Wow.
And he adapted a melody from Paul Clayton's song, Who's Gonna Buy You Ribbons When I'm Gone? Dave Van Ronk chimes in again. Says it's self-pitying, but brilliant. Yeah. So I will skip back a few tracks forward, or skip forward a few tracks. So after that, you've got
Honey, Just Allow Me One More Chance.
Well, yeah, I was going to say in order from Don't Think Twice, this is how far back we missed it. Bob Dylan's Dream, Oxford Town, Talking World War III Blues, Coroner, and then Honey, Just Allow Me One More Chance.
Yeah.
Another cover.
Henry Thomas famously did...
1890s.
Yeah.
Was when it was written. Popularised in 1928 by Henry Thomas.
He famously did the song that Canned Heat got their famous
Going up the
melody.
country.
Yeah.
Do. I have heard the original. Yeah, it's like but like
is it Bulldoze Blues? I think.
Yes, that's the one. Yeah.
Yeah. Great song.
But yeah, Dylan sort of does put his own spin on it. I don't know if he puts different lyrics in it. It's turns it into a personal plea to an absent lover to allow him one more chance to get along with you. Vocally, very strong, I think. And yeah, sort of shows Dylan ready to make light of his own blues by using the form itself.
Yeah.
So yeah, bit of fun harmonica on this as well. I think quite decent harmonica playing.
The harmonica is a lot better. The harmonica player is a lot better than the last album.
Yeah.
It's not as harsh noise this time.
Yeah. A little bit less Aphex Twin. I haven't got much to say on Honey, Just Allow Me One More Chance. Fucking it's historical.
Yeah, no, I think it's interesting that he did cover a song.
Yeah. I Shall Be Free is what it ends on. Cover of song. Woody Guthrie, Cisco, Sonny Terry have all played this song. It's a Lead Belly song. Rewritten, I think. Critics have been divided about the worth of this final song. I think it's quite important in terms of nodding towards his influences. And I think it shows a lot of love for Woody Guthrie, which, I think his previous album also did. But yeah, I do agree. Like, I think this album loses steam towards the end and could have, maybe the track ordering could have been different on it. He could have easily have ended the album on Masters of War or A Hard Rain's Gonna Fall, and then you could have interspersed. I feel like the track listing could be blended a bit better, maybe on this. I'm not trying to say that I'm, I don't want to demolish a piece of art for art's sake, but I do think I could probably do a better track listing of this album.
Yeah, I do like the song. I think I like his kind of. It shows a bit of humour.
Yeah.
On this, obviously, he's got some very politically aware, very tough, very songs on here, but this one is then very light-hearted, and it's kind of poking fun a little bit. And when my telephone rang, it wouldn't stop. It's President Kennedy calling me up. He said, "My friend Bob, what do we need to make the country grow?" I said, "My friend John, Bridget Bardot, Anita Ekberg, Sophia Loren. Put them all in the same room with Ernest Borgnine." It's just bizarre. It's just like,
it's quite wacky for the time. It's kind of like, I don't know.
Yeah.
You see a lot of that in songwriting, like, in a lot of modern day songwriting of like inserting kind of, even like, Kanye West songs,
Yeah.
Where he'll just put like some really out of pocket lyric in there that, can make you laugh. But then again, it makes the track memorable sometimes. And I think it is a device that Dylan uses sometimes. And I think to be using it this early on in popular music is quite impressive to me.
Yeah, I think it's good. I think it's a good way to end the album after all of those very serious songs. Should we give it a rating?
Nah, surely not. Do you think?
Well, you've been rating the songs as we go, so I thought
just as like rough kind of conversational points. I wouldn't actually rate every song on the album, but like just to illustrate my point, I do feel like the sort of loses steam.
Yeah, it does. Yeah.
And just, maybe just to hate on Down the Highway.
Yeah, no, I really wasn't fussed on that song. I like what he was trying, but
really liked what he was going for there. Could really see what he was going for.
Didn't quite stick the landing.
Oh, Bob.
Oh, Bob.
Yeah. Well, I have no more to say on the matter.
What's your favourite track from the album then, if you don't want to rate it?
Alright. Fuck. That's hard. It's really hard. Hard Rain.
Hard Rain? Okay, fair enough.
Yours.
I'm torn between Masters of War and Oxford Town.
Interesting.
I think I'll probably go Masters of War.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's really good. Really speaks to me, that one. Listened to it a lot when I was 16, a very angsty 16-year-old.
Yeah, I wish I'd been into all that. I was just more interested in goofing off. I was in my Bob Dylan play, doing my play in London era.
Yeah, you've got the whole like thing, haven't you? The little thing for the harmonica as well.
Oh, I've got a harmonica holder. Yeah. No, I just meant like in terms of my life when I was 16. I don't think I was overtly political. I was more like free loving.
Right.
Like I was a poser. I was just like peace and love, but really, and I'm saying I was just fucking smoking weed. You gotta do it. No?
I was thinking about it the other day. How many? Do you know off the top of your head how many studio albums he's released?
62.
Oh, okay.
No, that's a guess.
No, well, I don't know either. I think it's got to be over 30, right?
All right, let's drum roll, please. I'm gonna Google.
But
this.
I was thinking about if we did it every week, we released the Bob Dylan episode every week for the rest of the year, we still wouldn't finish by the end of the year.
Yeah, but as far as I'm concerned, we can finish.
This might be like a multi-year undertaking.
I mean, as far as I'm concerned, we could finish bringing it all back home, and I'll be
really
no, Blonde and Blonde.
We got to get into the 70s,
whatever
surely.
Album we had before is Bicycle Crash, and we can call it 40 studio albums, 21 live albums, 18 volumes of the bootleg series, and 44 compilation albums, 7 soundtracks as main contributor, 24 notable extended plays, so EPs, 105 singles, 61 music videos, 17 music home videos, and 2 non-music home videos.
Don't know what any of that means.
I mean, 40 was not as much as I thought it'd be. And how many weeks are there in a year? Like, probably we could, if we just dedicated all our time to it, I reckon we could, do it within a year.
No, because there's not enough weeks left in the year. We'd have to release more than one episode a week.
Well, like this year, yeah. But I mean, if we started,
we did it like in but yeah, that's. I mean, if we actually do the whole. But anyway, I brought up
52 weeks in a year, so we could do it.
You had to look that up.
Well, I was like, how many weeks in a year? You didn't say
sorry,
anything.
I thought you were joking.
I don't care about that stuff. I'm too busy
remembering Bob Dylan lyrics and how many weeks there are in a year.
I'm more of a words guy.
More of a vibes man. But anyway, I brought up Paul Schrader earlier. Did you know that Paul Schrader did a music video for Bob Dylan? But they shelved it because it wasn't very good. Because Schrader was a bit starstruck.
Yeah.
And so he didn't do a very good job.
Does strike me, that kind of guy.
I think he'd also just come off of Mishima. So he was shooting in Japan for a long time. So
yeah. Well, we should do some eps on Paul Schrader. He's a painfully...
Yeah, he's crazy. He's gone... Have you seen his Facebook posts?
The AI girlfriend.
He has gone crazy. I mean, he's always been like very loopy. I mean, he'd talk about taxi driving. He used to sleep with a gun under his pillow. But he's always had a bit of a screw loose. But yeah, the past like couple of years, he's really lost it. I don't know what's gone on there.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, he's always sort of lost it. I think you can't really write Taxi Driver and not have a bit of a screw loose.
Yeah,
but great man.
Fantastic artist. I mean, have you seen Mishima?
No.
I've got to show you Mishima. It's just, I mean, amazing.
So I've got to show you some Mashima. You're a Mashima?
Mashima?
Like YouTube, they used to do like games, like it'd be like Halo, but they'd like voice over and act out stuff. Mashima.
No, I've never heard of this.
It's a very strong era of YouTube. Old man era of YouTube.
Old man era of YouTube.
It's very like OG. If you've seen some Mashimas, I think they used to do like GTA ones as well, where it'd be like, after this podcast, I'll show you some Mashimas.
Alright, cheers, buddy. That's my evening sorted.
But the one thing I wanted to discuss actually is a bit of topical news. I was scrolling on my little phone, looking at the world, and I saw the new Lord of the Rings film, The Hunt for Gollum.
No, Ian McKellen's coming back for it, isn't he?
Yeah, Peter Jackson was quoted to say that he was heavily inspired by Joker for it.
Oh,
and it's going to be like Gollum's point of view.
Oh.
So...
Oh, we are living in like the worst timeline possible.
But I don't know, is Joker a bad piece of art?
Yes. It's incredibly awful. In every conceivable level, it's terrible.
I don't know if I had Letterboxd when I saw it, but I remember being pretty blown away by it. I remember actually really liking it when it came out. So
It's just like, why should I respect a piece of film or a piece of art just because it apes something, another film that does what it's trying to do so much better?
Luckily, I didn't have Letterboxd at the time watching that. Otherwise, I'd have a pretty embarrassing review up for it.
My favourite Letterboxd review is still on. Is for Joker. I think it's some like random account that's just, this happened to my buddy Eric. Oh. And my other favourite Letterboxd review, I've got to find it. Do you know who Sidney Poitier is? He directed. So Sidney Poitier is the first black man to win the Best Actor award.
Yeah, we did. We spoke about him on the Singing in the Rain documentary because he went up against Huac.
No, you're thinking of Paul Robeson.
Fuck.
Sidney Poitier is somebody slightly different.
Did we talk about him on the Oscars episode?
Yeah, maybe I probably would have brought him up because he was. But basically, when you've got one, it's basically he directed something. Fuck. I've lost it. I think they've taken their film off of Letterboxd now. But he directed something, and then there was a review for it that was just, this is fucking shit. For some reason, that just really got me. But it was just like a film about like breakdancing or something.
Alright, well, we'll leave it there for the Bob Dylan episode.
The Times They Are Changing is next.
That's going to be quite a heavy research-heavy episode. I'm going to have to like actually learn my political stuff.
Yeah.
Political chops.
Yeah. Very famous, that album. Obviously, he performed it at the MLK rally. That only a pawn in that game.
Yeah. All this and more to come.
Yeah. Hopefully less technical difficulties next time.
Yeah, it's been a bit crazy. I'm running out of space on my hard drive, so a couple times the video cuts out, and we had to like restart the video, and then that kind of cut us off in some momentum. And we got the lost tapes, which I may or may not release at some point. I might give them to some guy at the BBC and be like, whatever you do,
just hold on to those, never release them.
Just release like 2 seconds of really, really poor quality, and then that's it. I'll see you next week.
Yeah, Disclosure Day next week, I think.
Oh yeah, first guest on the podcast.
Yeah, all being well.
Miles Hanmore. See you then.